Just like what a way to walk off the game. Just tell us about that last at bat.
Well, it's so cool because Jim hasn't had a lot of at-bats, and I mean, as a coach, sometimes the way you manage your substitutions, you got to make sure you got everything covered. You got pinch hitting covered, you've got pinch running covered, and quite honestly, Jam's kind of been that player that can do a little bit of everything on the field. So I've sort of saved her in case we ran out of subs to make sure we didn't get in a bind. But what I loved about it is, the game plan tonight was every time we step in the box, our mindset is yes, 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 and we can always hold up, but we can't start going once we're indecisive. And I love the way Katie and Jam just jumped on the first thing they saw, which tells you they're in a good mindset.
What did you like about Riley in the circle?
I thought Riley pitched tough, I love the at-bat where she got down 3-0 to their best hitter, and she didn't give in. She came back and made real quality pitches and then ended up getting kind of a weak ground out. So I just thought she was very resilient out there and got the job done. First, lead-off walk, and then she settled in.
How have Katie and Jamison handled going from that regular starting role last year to being more of a bench option this year?
Yeah, I think it's been tough, right? That's tough for anybody. I mean, every girl on this team, they're a competitor and they want to play, and that's why they're here. And I think they've handled it really, really well. I've told Katie many times how proud I am of her. She still just pours into the team. She's a leader in the dugout. She sees things on the field that she doesn't hesitate to speak up about, and Jam's just kind of gone along and done her job, and her job is really like whatever we might need. So, yeah, I'm proud of them, how they've handled it. They haven't been a distraction at all, and, that's tough to do in this day and age, especially with all the ABs they got last year.
You had a lot of depth last year, but it feels like you have even more this year.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you've been able to do, just line-up-wise, or just, just getting a little creative with who you're subbing in or things like that you weren't able to do last year?
I think so, especially when Bella was healthy, and then we had more middle infield depth. We've got a lot of outfield depth. I think the only place where, we don't have a lot of depth right now is middle infield. I thought Amanda did a really nice job tonight, but Amanda was in the outfield for us, and then when Bella went down, we pulled her back into the infield to start getting some reps there. So, yeah, our depth definitely has helped us, and I think as the season goes along, some people can struggle a little bit, especially if they're not getting consistent ABs. But then once they kind of come to terms with, what's happening, they know just go in there and cut loose.
Speaking of Bella, do you expect her to return this year, and what's the timeline on her injury?
I do. I would expect sometime in the next couple weeks. It's really hard to put an exact date on it, but, it was a 4 to 6 week deal, and we're beyond 4, but we're not at 6 yet.
What went into starting Payton today, and what were your thoughts on how she performed?
What went into that is, I take these games seriously, and I've been too often on the side of, a mid-major team showing up and they're playing lights out. Like nothing's going wrong for them, and we're hitting line drive after line drive, and they're all getting caught. And before you know it, in the 5th inning, you're in a 0-0 battle, and that team over there is loose, and this team is getting a little concerned. And it's just the way it is. They've got nothing to lose. So I just feel like, we're going to go with a veteran. We're going to go with somebody who I know is going to pound the zone and not give them anything free. And it sends a message to our team, too, that, hey, they're good. And if you don't take them seriously, they can sneak up and beat you.
Haven't had too many midweek games. What do you think was the most beneficial part to having this one, especially with the end of the regular season approaching?
We really needed to get back to, or really, in a way, just kind of start this mentality with our offense of just attack. Like we're hunting, from the first pitch on. We're not waiting on anything. And they needed to do it, and then they needed to see the results. And tonight they saw the results. A lot of hard hit balls.
What do you think has been just like the driving force behind this team's consistency this season?
Well, veteran leadership is one thing. We have some, veterans who just understand the grind and understand how, you got to take care of business and you got to take care of yourself. And then obviously pitching. The outstanding pitching we've gotten from both Carlin and Payton consistently. When as a team, every time you go out there, your pitcher's going to give you a chance to win. That makes a big difference in how you play.
How's it been working Avery into the team? I know she joined in the middle of the season. You've had these mid-season walk-ons before.
Yeah, Avery was really seamless, and that's a credit to Avery and a credit to our team. And of course, I think that's the thing a coach would worry about when anybody comes in mid-season, is you just don't want to upset the apple cart in any way. But Avery understood the deal when she came on board, and we just didn't want to get ourselves in a situation once Riley White was hurt where, hey, if another pitcher woke up sick on a Friday morning, now we didn't want to go into a weekend with two. So Avery understands, and, thankfully for Riley and everybody, ever since Avery came on, Riley's been back and she's been pretty healthy.
We got time for one more?
Your infield, you look at the series over the weekend and then today's game. What stands out to you most about just how clean they've been able to play these last few series?
Yeah, when we've been able to get consistent in positions, and that's a big part of it. I didn't think we were real clean tonight. I didn't like our communication on some pop-ups and things like that. I thought, we weren't. But that comes down to communication, and we talked about that in the dugout. But I think it's people being in positions consistently and getting comfortable there.